Welcome to The Explainer. We're jumping into a massive theme from the Bible today, the story of God's people. Now, this isn't just some random history. It's a story that covers the entire Bible, and it's got this really cool, unexpected shape that honestly changes how you see the whole thing. So you might be asking, who exactly are the people of God? It's a great question, and the Bible's answer isn't some quick definition you can look up. Instead, it unfolds a story, a really big one that starts on page 1 and doesn't stop until the very end. And the absolute key to unlocking this massive story is its shape. I want you to picture an hourglass. It starts out super wide at the top, gets incredibly narrow in the middle, and then it opens right back up again. If you can get your head around that hourglass shape, you've pretty much got the key to the whole biblical narrative. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to trace that hourglass. We'll start with God's first people, then watch how things narrow down, see a pretty consistent pattern of failure, find the absolute center of the story, and then see how it all opens back up to include, well, everyone. All right, first up, the top of the hourglass. This is where the story is as wide as it can possibly be. It doesn't kick off with one nation or one special group. Nope, it starts with all of humanity. So when we look at Genesis, we see Adam and Eve, and they're not just, the first two people. The story presents them as the original people of God. The whole reason they were created was to be in this close, covenant relationship with Him, literally living in His presence. But here's where we see something really important established right from the get-go, a pattern. And this pattern is going to show up again and again throughout the Bible. It's a 3-step cycle. First, you have this great relationship in God's presence. Second, there's disobedience, sin, that shatters it. And third, the consequence is exile, being kicked out of that presence. Seriously, remember this cycle. It's crucial. Okay, so the story of humanity starts with a pretty big failure, which, of course, raises the question, what now? How is God going to get a people back for Himself? And the answer to that is where we start to see that hourglass shape take form. The story starts to get narrower. After that wide-angle shot of all humanity failing, the camera, so to speak, zooms way in. Out of everybody on the entire planet, God calls just one guy, Abraham, and He promises to make a whole new nation from him. I mean, talk about a major shift in the plan. And through Abraham's family line, which becomes the nation of Israel, God sets up a formal relationship. It's called a covenant. And the absolute core of this promise is summed up in this one phrase you see over and over. Scholars actually call it the covenant formula. I will take you as my own people, and I will be your God. That single sentence, it becomes the absolute heartbeat of who they are. So the idea here is that Israel is meant to be like a new Adam. They're supposed to get it right where humanity first got it wrong. But, and this is the tragic part, they end up repeating a very, very familiar pattern. I mean, just check out how this plays out. The parallel is just wow. It's almost a perfect mirror. Adam and Eve were in God's presence in the garden. Israel is in God's presence in the promised land. Adam and Eve disobeyed. Israel disobeys their covenant. Adam and Eve were exiled from the garden. Israel is exiled from the land. It's the exact same heartbreaking cycle, just happening to an entire nation this time. But here's the thing. Even in the middle of this disaster, this exile, it wasn't the end of the story. This failure actually prompted the prophets, guys like Isaiah and Ezekiel, to start talking about the future, to point toward a day when God Himself would step in, gather up His scattered people, and finally restore them. So let's recap. Humanity failed. Then Israel, the chosen nation, failed. It's just been a story of one failure after another. And all of that leads us right here to the tightest, most important point in the entire hourglass. And this is the pivot point. The New Testament writers come along and present Jesus as the one person who finally is what Israel was always supposed to be. And this is so important. He doesn't just replace Israel. The idea is that He is the true Israel. He's the one who carries their whole story to its intended goal. The Gospel of Matthew is just brilliant at showing this. It paints this picture of Jesus basically reliving some of the most important moments of Israel's story. For example, Israel was called God's son, so is Jesus. Israel went down to Egypt and was called out. Jesus does the same. Remember the baby boys killed by Pharaoh? Well, there's a threat to infants from Herod in Jesus' story, and both were tested in the wilderness. But here is the massive difference, the game changer. Every single time Israel failed, Jesus succeeds. He's the one who finally aces the test. So think about that. The entire sprawling story of God's people has now been perfectly lived out and fulfilled in one single person. We've reached the narrowest point of the hourglass, and now the story is ready to turn and expand back outward in its final massive act. This really is the incredible climax of that narrowing process. A story that started with every person on Earth has now funneled all the way down to its absolute tightest point. One person, one fateful individual. But from that single point, the story doesn't just stop. No, it explodes outward. The whole idea of who the people of God are is about to become even bigger, even more inclusive than it was way back in the beginning. And this is how that ancient promise to Abraham finally comes true. The one where God said that through him, all nations on earth would be blessed. Suddenly, the people of God aren't defined by ethnicity or by a single nation anymore. It's now this global family made up of anyone, Jew or Gentile, it doesn't matter, who puts their trust in Jesus. So when you step back, what you see is this incredible, powerful hourglass shape to the whole story. It was designed this way. It starts with everyone, narrows all the way down to one person, and then, through him, it explodes back out to include everyone again. And this isn't just some ancient history lesson. It leaves us with a really big question for right now. If this is the story of how God defines his people, what does it actually mean to be a part of that group today?